So a few days ago, I was telling you guys one of the worst stories I had heard about a guy getting caught using porn. And in this story, the guy, he thought he was alone in the house. He started blasting it on the family TV. His daughter, who lived close by, came home, caught him red-handed, and caused this big brouhaha in the family. His wife was super upset. She started talking about divorce, and I was talking about how tragic this kind of scenario was. And what surprised me was that a number of people commented that it was insane that she brought up divorce because of porn use, right? Like, you can look over here at some of the comments. Like, here's the text version of the post, and someone says, getting divorced over porn is immature. 5 upvotes. Sorry, what? A family breaking divorce over porn on a TV? Where am I? 9 upvotes. Okay. Some people asked if this was even real. Sounds made up. Wasn't made up. Okay. Real story. And so, what do you think? Is it crazy for divorce to be talked about because of porn use? And I've got a really poignant question for the guys who challenge this idea in a minute. But first, let's just see, are we crazy? Is there any kind of, precedent for porn and divorce? Well, I asked ChatGPT, what percentage of divorces in the United States is pornography listed as one of the contributing causes? Well, one study says 56% of divorces say that pornography addiction was a contributing factor. Okay. Another one says 60% of divorces where internet pornography played a significant role. Okay. So, clearly it's not too crazy considering how big those numbers are. Like, over half, both those studies say over half of divorces list pornography as one of the issues. So, it sounds more like the guys who are questioning this are kind of crazy if they think it's completely insane. So now, is it right? Okay, that's the bigger question. Maybe it's not insane, but is that the right thing? Should they be having a conversation about divorce? Well, here's the big question that I have for the guys challenging this, okay? Now, I want you to imagine, you're living in this world where a guy using pornography, maybe not perfect, maybe not good, but definitely not grounds for divorce, okay? Now, the people who believe that, what do you think? What if the woman creates porn? What if she's an OnlyFans model? Is that grounds for divorce? What do you think? Like, this is the kind of thing that I tend to see sometimes, is that there's this idea that if a woman creates porn, she's a total skank, absolutely should not marry her. And if it's your own wife, oh my gosh, you divorce her in a second. Okay. But if a guy uses porn, come on, what are we talking about? We're talking about divorce here? That's crazy, right? And so I guess the big question is, like, why is there this perception? And so how could you hold the perception that, using porn is okay, and then creating porn is not? It's the same thing. It's like, one's the supply side, one's the demand side, and technically the woman could be creating porn and not even be engaging in infidelity in a sense, right? Like, she might not even be getting anything sexual out of it. She might just be making money. She might be making money for the family. That's what she might be doing. Maybe she's not even, interested in any of the guys. Maybe she's not even getting a sexual kick out of it. Maybe it's purely a monetary thing. I think a lot of guys would still have a massive problem with that. Meanwhile, when a man uses pornography, what is he doing? Well, he is literally simulating infidelity to the point of orgasm, which in many cases, you could argue is a form of infidelity. So, that's, to me, if you hold that it's okay to use porn, but not okay to create porn in a marriage, then you're living in some kind of weird world. And I would like to hear your rationale for it. Now, some people, of course, are going to say it's okay to use porn and create porn in a marriage as long as everybody agrees on it, right? And, I don't operate in that worldview. I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic. I believe that sex is something sacred. And I think a lot of people, they like the idea of living in this, non-sacred sexuality where sex is just a commodity. You can do it however you want, and it can all be hunky-dory as long as everybody's consenting. But I think most people, while they like that intellectually because of the freedom and the lack of accountability that puts on them, they really can't fully embrace it because they want sex to mean something. And you can't have it both ways. You can't have sex be this completely amoral thing that as long as it's consensual, you can do whatever the hell you want. You can't have it be that and also have it be very special. Because here's the thing is like sanctity or specialness, it is created through restriction. Right? It's necessary. There must be restrictions around something to make it important and meaningful. So let me give you an example, all right? If you followed me for a long time, you've probably heard this before, but imagine your mom makes an incredible chocolate cake, okay? And she only brings it out on special occasions, like your birthday or a holiday or something like that. When you have that cake, it's amazing, right? Everybody's happy and pumped to have that mom's special chocolate cake, okay? And you like it so much that you decide to get the recipe from her. And you start making that chocolate cake all the time. And you start eating it all the time, okay? And what's going to happen then? Well, if you start doing that, how special is it going to be for you to have that cake on your birthday? It won't be, right? It won't mean anything. Okay. And further, there's probably going to be negative side effects if you're enjoying that sweet, delicious chocolate cake all the time. And it's probably going to result in a few extra pounds on your belly and maybe even some health problems down the line if you really lean into it. And I believe that sex operates the same way. When you start indulging in sex in a way without any sort of constraints, without any sort of specialness, without attaching it to any sort of restrictive meaning, then there's going to be negative consequences and it's going to stop being special. Bottom line, right? And so this is why I believe that if you want to have sex mean something, you have to restrict it. Like that means, neither person in the couple, they use pornography, okay? I would argue also they want to make it really special. They also don't masturbate, right? They also don't hook up with other people. They don't do anything with their sexuality other than share it with each other and, I guess with God, right? Transmutation. And like this creation of this little tiny sliver of life where you allow your sexuality to become expressed. Yes, it feels restricted, but when it's done properly in there with the right alignment of mind and heart, then it becomes literally a sacred act. It becomes the most meaningful act that it could be. Okay. And I think that's what guys and women ultimately want. They want sex to be sacred because we feel how incredibly powerful it is. I mean, this is literally how we create life. It's the creation of life. That's what sex is. And when we start just commodifying, we turn it into a plaything. We turn it into something that we can just use for instant gratification. It just kills it. It makes it something hollow. It makes it nothing more than an itch to be scratched. And ultimately, I believe sexuality is supposed to be so much more. Pope John Paul II, he had this idea of uniting sexual theology to spiritual theology. And his idea was that eros, the Greek word for erotic longing, what this was supposed to be was a signpost to our longing for the infinite. All right. And by learning how to hold and properly direct our sexual energy, this is the path of spiritual development, one of the fundamental paths of spiritual development. So if you would like to reclaim the meaning in your sexuality, well, you got to cut out the porn, right? You have to reconnect with your spouse in a healthy, intimate way. And this isn't easy, okay? It can be very challenging, especially if you got a lot on your plate. So in particular, the guys that I've been really wanting to work with lately are the guys who are running their own businesses, they've got kids, they've got a lot of responsibilities on their plate, and they're using porn to try and cope with all that, but they know it's tearing them up. They know it's destroying them. They know it's destroying their marriages. They know it's destroying their chance of marriage if they're, divorced or if they're single and they want to get that point. But they're having trouble putting together their plan of action so that they can really eliminate this problem and reclaim their masculine alignment. Okay. And so if you're in that situation, I would love to work with you. And so what I want you to do is click the link in the description here and book a discovery call with us where we can talk to you about how our Frontline Man coaching program can help you eliminate pornography and live your very best life. Because that's the key, is like you got to live a life that you don't want to escape from to begin with. And doing that takes some doing, but it can be done. Okay. You can quit porn and you can get that kind of intimate fulfillment that you deeply long for. So that's what I have for you guys today. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Yeah.